Color PPF looks amazing, but is it really worth the extra dollars to actually get this over vinyl? We're gonna find out today. Most people, when they think about paint protection film, they think about the clear that goes over the car and you can barely see it if installed. But one thing that's really been in the market, that's really growing in our industry, is going to be the colored PPF. And as you see right here on the Model 3 Highland, this is actually paint protection film. This is the satin black that is on the Model 3 Highland door. And I also have a few other vinyl strips around here that we're going to test. So I think a lot of the questions that we get in our customer base is, you know, I'm looking at a shop, you know, can you give us some recommendations? We're looking at vinyl, or should I go color PPF? I'm gonna give you the too long, don't watch, you know, TLDW, I guess, answer. Like if you're just looking to change the color of your vehicle from, you know, like let's say gray to red, then totally I think vinyl is the way to go. And especially if you're like, maybe I wanna do this for 2 to 3 years. So vinyl has about a lifetime about like 2 to 5 years, roughly. That's like the average. It can go a little bit more than that, like 7, but really that's kind of like, that's really, really well taken care of. Whereas PPF typically is between 7 to 10 years. And I'm talking both for clear and color PPF as well. So the reason why people go for vinyl is I think cost. It is definitely cheaper, but here's what's changing a lot. Actually, color PPF is getting significantly cheaper year by year. So that gap is actually kind of decreasing quite a bit. I mean, sometimes you've seen it where color PPF can be actually double the amount of cost over vinyl. And that's, again, the gap is actually kind of getting a little closer from each other. But I think if you are just looking at the sake of customization, you just want to change the color of the car, save some money, save it for something else, and then you could get vinyl. But if you are looking at kind of doing the both things in terms of protecting your car, and you also want to change the color of your car, you kind of get that dynamic, you know, the duo where it does both at the same time. And as long as the cost isn't too crazy, I think this is definitely worth the investment right here. So what we have today is we are doing a very scientific, and we do a lot of tests. This is super scientific. We got ketchup over here, or I think it's ketchup, or something disgusting right here. This is actually vinyl right here. This is a satin black color PPF. And then we have some permanent marker. We got some coffee, we got some ketchup or some sauce that I'm not really sure what this is. It might be barbecue sauce because we're in Tennessee. And this has been sitting for a whole day, so hours and hours. So we just want to see if it etches a little bit more into the film, how easy it is to clean it. This does have a very hydrophobic property in it, so it's supposed to be really good. This does not really. None of them are ceramic coated. We're gonna start with the scratch test. I have vinyl right here again, color PPF, and this is a metal brush. Ow. So pretty sharp. I'm just gonna, oh, that doesn't sound good. Hopefully you didn't get that on the mic. So I scratched that. That's pretty bad. I wanna, oh, sorry, this is like so bad. And then you got PPF right here. So first of all, significantly harder to scratch, but you can see I got scratches all over here and scratches all over here. So the vinyl does actually have some self-healing abilities. A lot of people don't think that they have none, but the laminate layer that is on top of the vinyl actually has some of those properties. So it's kind of cool. So it actually does heal just a little bit. We're gonna get a really close up on the vinyl right here. I got high heat. Ooh, that is hot. Okay, this is enormously hot, and you can see that none of the scratches really went away. So that's the thing. Okay, now you got the scratches right here. Let's see if some of them go away. I might have to get a new heat gun because it's smoking. Might be a defect. But you can see that it definitely got better. So here's the thing. Here's the difference right here. Really nothing went away. And then you got right here. Some of the deeper scratches that I can kind of feel did not go away. But some of the lighter scratches that was here did go away. So another thing that we could do is typically you could use hot water, and that also helps. All right, let's see if that helps a little bit. You can see that the water kind of beads off. That's the hydrophobic properties. So if you look at it, on your end, does it look like it got better? Because it looks better on my end. But definitely healed, not all. So we're not gonna, sell you or tell you that it just completely heals away. I did go very aggressively, just so you know, I was just really getting in there. So here's the difference though between these two. Yes, this healed up a little bit more than this, actually a lot more than this. However, if I were to get a key and I key the car all the way through, this most likely will protect over this right here. All right, so we got this sharper key right here. You got that edge. So we're gonna go ahead and try using this one. Ooh. So let's talk about the results. You can see expel right here. I mean, man, I went really aggressive in that keying. And yes, there are some scratches right here and right here, but it didn't actually go through the paint. If you look at the actual film right here, this looks really aggressive, and it protected at least a good amount of it, at least half of that, because I actually went all the way, like that whole stroke, right? It's a lot thicker. It's actually a different construction. This is PVC, which is polyvinyl chloride, and this is TPU, okay? So this is a little bit more rubbery texture. It has that self-healing ability, and definitely thicker than the vinyl. So it will just protect a lot more than this counterpart right here. So can we just show it? Can we get like an actual healing going on? Maybe like this one right here. I'll scratch this. Okay, right there. You see that? Did you see that? That actually did heal, right? All right, so that was a light one. So vinyl does have some of that ability. And then can we get this one right here? I will say though, I do have to put a lot more force to actually scratch this than this one. So you got a scratch right here. Do you see that right there? Okay, I want to use some heat. As far as the scratch goes, definitely the PPF will protect a lot more than the vinyl. And that's kind of what I'm saying, right? Like, it has that protective ability. This was designed by nature. Vinyl was not designed for protection, right? They don't call it vinyl protection film. It was designed for customization. Whereas the paint protection film is called paint protection film, so it's actually designed for, they just ended up adding and infusing the colors into the film. So at the forefront of it, the main reason for paint protection film is protection, and that's why this will do a much better job than the vinyl side. Third part of the testing is we want to do some stain resistance. So like I said, none of these are ceramic coated, and this is just raw. We just installed this a couple weeks ago, kind of testing a couple films. And we have Sharpie, coffee, and barbecue sauce right here. So what we're just gonna do is we're gonna use our waterless wash. All I'm gonna do is just I'm just gonna wipe that barbecue sauce, 'cause that's nasty. Oh yeah, that's nice and barbecue-y. All right, so I got rid of, oh, that's crusty too. All right, I got rid of the coffee a little bit. The coffee did stain. Actually, no, it didn't stain. All right, so I got the barbecue left no etching. The coffee, they're not that chemically, but they are a little bit more acidic. I'm gonna just go ahead and use this. I'm gonna do the permanent marker last. So I'm gonna say right off the bat, the PPF is definitely easier to clean. It's just a lot more, I guess it's more sleek. It is actually coated from the factory, so if you touch it, it's a lot more slippery, I guess, and the vinyl, it's a little bit more rough. All right, so now that we have these two counterparts, no barbecue. Barbecue and coffee is no match for any of these. We're gonna try to get a permanent marker, and this is a Sharpie. This is a white Sharpie. What we're gonna do is just spray a little bit of that waterless wash. I'm gonna actually use my thumb and just see how much I can get rid of. I'm going pretty hard in terms of the force. All right, so I'm gonna go first round. You can see that it actually did come out a little bit, not a whole lot, but it did come out a little bit lined up. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing on the PPF. And then I'm gonna go back to the vinyl and see if I can get more out. Okay. All right, so you can see I try to do it about the same amount, and you can see that it's definitely less. And then I'm gonna go back to this one now. All right, this time I'm gonna go a little bit harder. I have the alcohol right here. It should break down a little bit more, hopefully, maybe, not sure. We didn't actually test this before this video, so. But you get the real results. Just straight up 70% alcohol. It's definitely helping. Oh yeah, that's definitely helping. All right, so I'm gonna show you the remnants. I wanna do it for 5 more seconds. Okay, so it did lighten up right here, completely light. Most of it is gone, but you can still see that remnants of that line that goes all the way through right here. The good news is there's no etching from the barbecue. I did get it a little bit of my finger right here, but barbecue and coffee, no problem. No etching whatsoever. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the paint protection side. Whoops, spilled some alcohol on my knee, it's okay. All right, so just put that right here. And you can see just, I mean, even less. I mean, I did that way less than this one and it already came off, right? Why is it? Well, again, I told you this was coated from the factory, and most modern paint protection film or color PPF will have some sort of top coat, and they've been doing that a lot more. They've been doing that not just in this color PPF, but it's also common in gloss and matte as well. It's a lot more sleek. It has a hydrophobic property, so because it has that hydrophobic layer, it's able to kind of withstand some of those. So if someone were to not graffiti, but like Sharpie it, it'll be hard. It wasn't that easy. However, it would, you know, remove pretty easily. Here's the main thing though, if that ever happens to you, I hope it never happens to you, try to get it off as soon as you can because you don't want it in the sun and just etching, right? But on the vinyl side, I mean, I'll try one more time just to kind of give it one last final attempt and see if I can really get it fully off. Oh yeah, there's no way that's gonna come out completely, so you can still see the remnants. So, I mean, there you have it. You know, I think that the point of this was to kind of show you the differences. We try to at least make it as real as possible in terms of the performance of the two films. I mean, I think a typical vinyl wrap is going to be between like a reputable shop will probably be between like, on the lower end, that's pretty low, would be like 35, all the way to like 5,500 is probably around the ballpark in the USA. And then color PPF is probably going to be around like 55, 6,000 all the way to like 12,000. I mean, it's a big range and it really depends on the region that you're in, you know, the overhead that a shop would pay, but I mean, it's a pretty significant difference. So I think what's happening now is that's coming down. Vinyl hasn't come down that much. Actually, the price is about stabilized, right? But color PPF is definitely getting closer to the vinyl. So, I mean, you got to weigh it, I think, between the two. Like if you're gonna keep this car for a really long time and you're very set on the color and you want to keep this color, then totally like go on the color PPF side. Or if you don't really care about that and you really truly just want to change the color, I don't know, maybe you want to go even wilder. And I think there was an argument back in the day, if you wanted more colors and more choices, go vinyl. And here's the thing, that's changing too. We have our deck of like swatches right here and it's like hundreds of colors now. And that's significantly changing, honestly, on a day-to-day basis. So that argument is kind of out the window now as well. So one of the things that might change is we actually just came out with the DIY kit for Color PPF for the Juniper, and we're working on a bunch of different models. But if you do it in a DIY, it might make more sense too, because for us, you know, our overhead is really not labor, since you are the labor if you're doing a DIY. So that may not, you know, you might look into it and go, huh, just a little bit more and I could do a Color PPF. Work is more, and labor is definitely a lot more, but we have a, you know, step-by-step guide. We have a whole course just for you, and we teach you how to do it. So that may be an option if that is what you're looking for. But again, if you're going back to the shops, you're gonna see a little bit of a difference where color PPF is gonna be more expensive than vinyl. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click on that subscribe button. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments below. But this concludes our scientific experiment for today, and we'll see you later.